Today's story takes place somewhere in the remote villages of Asia, and the person who submitted the story, this happened to his grandfather. The grandfather had four children, two daughters and two sons, and they were extremely poor. The grandfather was a fisherman by trade, and their livelihood depended on the fish they caught and the ones that they sold throughout the day. But even amongst all this, the family lived peacefully, and as the children got older, they got into the age of marriage, and the storyteller's mom was the first person, so their oldest daughter was the first person to get married, and she moved away from the house. Shortly after she was married, one day the grandfather was fishing and he caught something which was not really a fish. It was a small creature. The closest resemblance to it would be a small wet puppy. When the grandfather was trying to figure out what the creature was, that little creature attacked him. Now, trying to defend himself, he had knives with him, so he ended up killing the creature. Not being aware of what he killed because he's never seen that creature in his life, he thought it would be just one of those marine things because he doesn't know everything that's down there, so he just dropped the body back into the river. And then he came back home as normal, and when he went to sleep that night, he had a dream. In the dream, there was a figure of a woman who was crying, holding the creature in her hand. And next to her was a very angry looking, humanoid looking thing. That thing told the fisherman that he killed his son and he will take revenge on his family. The fisherman just woke up and he just thought he had a bad dream and he went back to sleep. The next day, the fisherman got really sick and he could not get out of his bed and he was just in bed the whole day. And since their livelihood depended on the fish they caught, he sent his eldest son to go catch some fish so they can sell it and they have food and money for the rest of the day. So the son went to do the fishing, but he did not return home that night. The next day, the neighbors and the other son and everyone they knew started looking for the son, but nobody could find him anywhere. 2 days later, the son washed up on shore next to the place where the fisherman killed that creature, but the son was in a really bad state. His head, arms, and legs were all twisted, like his head was literally 180 degrees behind. His boat was broken in half and they were all left by the riverbank. So the fisherman as well as the entire village knew that this was work of some evil thing. And after the funeral that night when he went to bed, he had another dream. In the dream, the dark humanoid figure came to him and said that if anybody from his family ever went to the riverbank, it's going to be the end of them. And also that he's going to cause misfortune on their lives. Following this, the next day, the imam went to different priests, different imams, different fakirs, whoever he can, just to find a solution to this. Pretty much him, his entire family, the entire village knew by this time that he was cursed and he has angered something. Eventually, after days of looking, he finally came to an imam who said that he can help them, but he can't get rid of the curse completely. The imam gave him some amulets and told him that him and his family needs to wear this all the time and they will be protected. So once they got the amulets, they started wearing it and the problems pretty much just disappeared. His other son started going to the river to do fishing and he heard lots of whispers, he saw some things out there, but nobody could harm him, so he just continued going there and fishing. Now you would think that they would be avoiding it after what happened, but once again they're very poor and fishing is the only way that they had a livelihood. Few months after this incident, his other daughter got married. All was going well with this until one day suddenly the other son just went missing out of nowhere. Similar to the last time, they could not find his body for 2 days, and 2 days later the body washed up on shore of the exact same river, same way his brother's body was found there. After the funeral and everything was done, he went back to the priest and they found out that he had forgotten his amulet at home that day. So this creature saw this as an opportunity and they killed him. The fisherman was really distraught of everything that's happened to his son, but at the same time, his other daughter, the second one, she was pregnant with a child. So there was a bit of hope and she was a bit of happiness in the house. Eventually, she ended up giving stillbirth. This happened 2 more times until she finally had a son. But the son was not normal. You can say that the son was born autistic, but it was different than that. The son could not walk or talk properly at all, which you would think is normal, but there was another side to the story. The only thing this son would be eating was fish and rice, nothing else. Any other food you would give to this son, he would just throw it away and just make a mess. And as he grew older, people even caught him eating raw fish or even old, bad, stinky fish. The fish is the only thing that he would eat. As the storyteller said, the person is still alive and it's his cousin. He's about 25 years old now, and fish is the only thing that he eats every single day, even now. His grandparents, however, passed away peacefully a couple of years ago. And luckily, since the storyteller's mom got married before any of this happened, she was spared from any harm.